I'm Zendor, and yes, you have been expecting me. I'll be your guide, playing the devil's advocate as we peer into the depths of what keeps us afraid, angry, ignorant, and immobile. Dreams mold future realities, and our dream for Who is to inspire our viewers to become actively involved in the critical issues that affect all of us. Hi, I'm Zendor, and welcome to Who. This evening's guest is Ed Mendoza, who's the spiritual roadman for the Native American Church. He's also a sun dancer, and he's also the founder and leader of the Chicano Spiritual Nation. The reason he's here this evening is that we're going to be discussing the Peace and Dignity Journeys 1992, which is in essence a spiritual run that the indigenous peoples of the Western Hemisphere are taking part in, even as we speak, to bring people together to share the concern for our Mother Earth. Ed, glad to have you here.
It's good to be here.
Now, the Chicano Spiritual Nation, it has another name that you've shared with me, which I really have difficulty remembering how to pronounce.
Yes.
Could you explain what that is and what it means?
Sure. In our language, the words of our nation means Tlatocan Itzcalot, which means Rebirth Council, and we come up with that name in our language because many years ago, before the coming of the people to this land, the foreigners, our people were organized in were maybe like councils or calpulis, maybe was that's what the word that we use, but I guess the word would be council. And throughout all of the land, these little councils met up and were the governing body of our people. They were the organization of our people, and so our people were united. And since that time, then we've kind of all become divided and become fighting, so-called fighting amongst each other. But we're bringing our people together, and through the old ways, and through these organizations, and through these understanding our ways, and that's the essence of our organization.
Speaking of organization, now you're one of the state coordinators for the Peace and Dignity Journeys 1992. Now, what all does that symbolize? What's the real meaning behind the run?
Well, the run is going throughout the Americas, from Alaska through Canada, United States, Mexico, and at the same time it was started up the north and going to the south. It was coming simultaneously from South America, and both of these runs are going to meet in Mexico City. At the same time both of these runs are going to Mexico City, there was many other tributaries that met up. And
was there one that started on the East Coast as well as in Northern California here in the United States?
Yes, right now at this point, all of the runs are united in Las Cruces, and they're going into El Paso, and all of the runs that have been coming through North America are all at one point at this time, the northern run. So they're on their way down to, they're going to be crossing the border tomorrow, and they'll be going into Mexico City, on their way to Mexico City.
And by the time that our viewers see this show, that's going to be near completion, probably.
Yes, as I was going to say, that as we're running throughout all of these communities, it's each community that it's going to is because they wanted to be a part of this run, and so there was a lot of tributaries that grassroots people started themselves, and so there's many more miles that we haven't even been able to count of the different directions that the runners are coming to meet in this one final journey into Mexico City. So all the time that we're doing this, we're getting people educated, and we're learning about these communities, and we're being educated by these communities about what's going on traditionally, culturally, and spiritually with our people.
Now, speaking of educated, what's the message that the Peace and Dignity Journeys is giving?
Well, there's many messages, but I guess one of the messages might be that we've got to understand what has happened in 500 years to our people since the coming of the foreigners. And in the process of understanding that 500 years, the history and what we've been doing to our people, to the Mother Earth, to our environment, and when we understand that, I think that we're in a better position to correct the mistakes that have been done historically to one another as peoples, and to particularly the Mother Earth. Every day we're every day in the newspaper, I'm sure there's some article about the poisoning of this Mother Earth, and people don't know what to do about it. The wisdom is with our old people and our ancestors, and if we had been listening to them all the time, we would be in better shape. So I guess the point of this is to start listening to the wisdom, and so that the next 500 years will be a better 500 years than the last 500 years.
Now, with the 500 years, you're speaking of our coming celebration of Christopher Columbus, as far as the Western culture is concerned.
Yes.
But it's really not a true representation of the historical events that happened. There's another side that hasn't been in the history books.
Well, the thing that we got to recognize first of all is if it's a celebration, what are we celebrating? Are we celebrating the conquering and the taking and the raping of one's people? That's a lot of hard things to say, but that is the truth. That is the history. And a lot of times they make it look like there was a grand marriage and there was a great assimilation, that Indian peoples are moving right along into this society. But I think sometimes some of the Indian people have stopped and said, hey, well, maybe this society that we're progressing towards is leading us in the wrong way. So we've stopped and thought, well, we've got to do something. We've got to correct ourselves and straighten ourselves out and listen to what the old people have to say to us.
And the Western culture, no doubt, has turned into a consumer society where we're consuming everything and not really thinking about what's happening because of that consumption.
Yes, I think one of the things that Indigenous people have always thought about is their concern for the future generations. And
don't you go 7 generations forward and 7 generations backwards when the tribal councils are making a decision?
Well, nowadays the councils are a little different. The new councils, the tribal councils today, they're a political entity, just like the councils that are governing cities and governments and so forth. So traditionally, we understand the generations and the generations that have happened behind us, and then we're also knowing that the generations are going to have to live in the coming generations. And so when we think in those terms of generations and generations, it's a little hard to think in terms of dollars, because generations from now, dollars and money isn't going to make any sense. It's their lives and the Mother Earth that's going to be important.
That's right, and important to the children. Ed, regarding the children, what is the essence of what the message is from the indigenous peoples toward the children and towards the rest of the world in regards to what we can do for the future?
Well, one of the things that us people of our age, at the same time that maybe we're learning things, it's pretty important that we kind of energize our kids to this feeling and this energy that we have of what's going on within our people. So the youth, they're the ones that are really the energy that gives us, people my age, the energy to go on.
Right.
So while they're running, they may not really be able to philosophize why they're running, but they understand what's in the heart of the people.
Yeah.
And so that's where the run is able to go on with people like the
I kind of put Stetson on the spot with giving a message, but I thought one thing that he said was perfect, and is we don't need to fight.
Yeah.
You know, we need to work together.
Yeah. It was in the parts of the run that I've been able to be on, there's a lot of people that are coming together, and the spirit is really high. And youth of his age and on older, they're really taking part in something. And in these days, you know, there's really not too many really good things for youth to be involved with. There's some athletic types of things, which is good, but this is something that they're able to do with their, you know, use their energy and their athleticism, plus to understand the spiritual and the heart of the people. So it's kind of something that balances these youth and puts everything in its perspective, so that the youth are going to survive and they're going to be the leaders here real soon.
I agree, and we need people like you and I, people in our audience, to really take that message to heart, because we are in some very critical times right now. Our environments, you know, in a horrible shape, and with all kinds of the storms and the natural disasters, that seems like it's a message from Mother Earth for us to to pay attention. Thanks, Ed. We've got some remote footage coming up after these messages of the run that came through Tolleson, Arizona. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be right back with you.
Some people would consider the children of Tbilisi, Czechoslovakia, lucky. Once every week they take a bus trip into the mountains. If we don't do something right now, soon you may be doing the same with your kids. You see, the pollution in Tbilisi is so bad that the people don't send their children into the hills to commune with nature. They send them there to breathe.
I'm here with Raquel Gutierrez, involved with the Indigenous Peoples Peace and Dignity Journeys, 1992.
It's letting people know that even after 500 years, the Indigenous people still have their culture, and they want all people to come together. They want people to remember that Mother Earth is part of all of us, and we need to. It's an environmental issue, really, also, because you need to remind people that Mother Earth sustains us.
We're out in Tolleson, Arizona, for this glorious occasion, and that's a grouping of indigenous peoples involved in the Peace and Dignity Journeys, which is an excursion spanning the whole western continent from Alaska to Argentina. The focus of it is to group people together and prove that there is some cohesiveness, even in spite of the troubles that we've had over the last 500 years.
What it means to me is the coming back of the cultures that had been buried under the stones of the Spaniards and are still alive. We did not know that. Many people did not know that, but many of those traditions have been kept alive by word of mouth, and it's probably the beginning of a 500 years of Renaissance, if you can call it that way.
Yeah, our society has basically stifled all the historical information from that perspective for a long time.
That's
and
true.
I think it is time for it to come out. What's it all about to you?
This run is a spiritual run for me and for all our people, and to bring unity to our people once again, and to continue the next 500 years as a people united once again. Before the coming of the European, we were all the same people. There was no boundaries, and this run is to bring down them boundaries and to show that unity and strength in our people, and especially to our youth, because they're the ones that are going to have to continue with our traditions and our heritage and our stories and everything else. A lot of this was taken away from us, stripped from us. Our heritage was stripped, our women raped, and this is just a unity for all our people. It was prophesied in a lot of Indian Bibles that this run would come, and it's here, and we're here. We're still here after 500 years of resistance.
What was it like? What was going through your mind as you were running?
Well, as I ran, we always prayed because this is a spiritual run, and I've always had my people in mind. There was 200 million of our people killed. They talk about the Holocaust, but our people have been tortured all ever since, and I think they still are. And it's wonderful for me because I get to talk to the elders, and they're the ones that are teaching me the correct history. And we're always in prayer.
Work with the young children on Colorado River Indian Reservation. And we have a group of maybe 25 runners that we brought to run out here to Hopeville. And we run for some environmental issues. We ran to oppose the Ward Valley. We want to put a nuclear waste site there. We ran for the Eagle Mountain issue on this same run, Peace and Dignity run. We're not a protesting people. It's what we're doing is we're praying and running. My main goal is to work with the young people, to get them out of that environment with drinking and alcohol,
And when you take these boys away from, you know, some of the parents, I won't say all, but some of the parents, you know, both drink in the household, and the kids don't know nothing else, you know. So if I take them out of that household just for a day, or to take them out and do that run, or take them out to go to a meeting, you know, show them a different lifestyle, just for that little bit of time, you know, that's my job.
What kind of example do you hope to show to the rest of the world from this?
As a people, we can unite, you know. The greatest thing that I've seen in this, and it's really got my heart, you know, is that, like, there's no government sponsorship here. There's no major sponsorship. We're not all wearing Nike shoes, or Budweiser's not out there pumping beer, you know. It's from the people, and that's what the heart is, you know. It's all giving. Everybody's giving and putting in.
How does that relate, in your mind, to the situation here in the United States? Granted, it seems like there's a real lack of involvement of the people to help one another. Why do you think that is?
Well, that's a tough question. I could probably write a book about it, but the main thing that people are not getting involved anymore is because they have, in a lot of ways, been stripped of their traditions, of their culture, have been alienated to the point where going home and turning on the television is more rewarding than sitting around and talking with the parents, with everybody else. Why people are not involved is people have given up because they don't see an idea that would really work. Now this type of run is something that brings them together because it comes from us, it's spiritual, and at the same time, you know, the family values come out, you know.
Right.
There's a lot of families coming out, you know, running with us and all of that. And, you know, it rekindles the family spirit that in a lot of ways has been lost.
Ruben, how do you think that the family spirit's coming back?
Well,
Or do you see it coming back?
yes, as I speak to my elders, it's not just the men coming out forward. The women are beginning to be noticed because they got their own stories to tell. And as before, they were just always in the back, and now they're coming forward and saying their stories.
If they did this to your home, you'd stop them, wouldn't you?
What is the Peace and Dignity journey about for you? What is it representative of?
Well, it's an attempt, I think, at beauty. Thinking about it, you know, it's an attempt to make something beautiful that will attract us all, I think. And on the foundations of this beauty, I think we're talking about some principles for our relationship with each other.
We're hearing the applause for the runners just taking off, going right by us here in the background. We've got to respect, I think, anybody has to respect the fact that these runners would get out here in 115, 120 degree weather.
Yes, yesterday they ran through 125 at Quartzsite.
That's phenomenal. That takes a lot of dedication and a lot of spirit. How can we as Westerners benefit from this experience?
Well, that's a good question.
What's a single thing that we can take away from here?
Well, I think,
not knowing much about the indigenous cultures.
well, I think you would have to have gotten personally involved to really take out
what Peace and Dignity had to offer, because that's what was offered, an opportunity to get personally involved, to come out here and sweat and with your very body and the life that you have, sacrifice a day or 2 days or whatever you could have, so that something in the future would be better for all of us, not just Westerners or Indigenous, but throughout the world. I think that's what it is, Peace and Dignity, to try to attempt to plant that seed of beauty in our relationship as human beings to each other. Westerners, non-Westerners, Indigenous, non-Indigenous. It's very real. You can see it by even these dances, that the root of what is represented, Peace and Dignity, comes from this land, way beyond this 500-year history that we're been indoctrinated too many times to believe. I think maybe that's it for Westerners, is to look for the truth and have the courage to follow the principles that that truth is going to teach you, especially in relationship to Indigenous people of this hemisphere. Because I think both of us, Indigenous people, and as you say, Westerners, or to talk about it, European descent people, this lie of 500 years of colonization and discovery, these things have to be put out, like here, like we're standing, direct sunlight. Let's get rid of those shadows. Right. We're going to make a truthful, beautiful, and principled relationship as human beings, as we are destined that we should be.
Here with Benjamin Chi, who's one of the Phoenix organizers, actually is the Phoenix organizer for the Peace and Dignity Run segment here. Ben, what is the Peace and Dignity journey to you? What's it mean?
Well, it is an event that, in the long run, will reawaken the Indian spirit in all the people. For many hundreds of years, the Indian spirit has been dampened. It has, with all the oppression that we've gone through, all the changes that we have been subjected to. I think the Indian spirit has been more or less asleep, and now with the fulfillment of the prophecy that the Indian spirit is being reawakened, and I think by the gathering here it's very visible that they are being reawakened. The people are beginning to realize that we need to take our place in society, our rightful place in society, because we are the original landholders of this great country. And I believe that is what's happening now, and I just feel very humbled to be a part of this whole event.
Right, it is a very humbling experience. How can people get involved? Who can they call or who can they write to?
Well, there's been talk of expanding our organization to be the voice for the Native American people here in Phoenix, of which we have over 35,000. There is no vehicle for that at this time. This is the closest we have to it, so a lot of people have wondered if I was going to expand this to more or less be a voice for the Native American people in city politics and things of that nature.
How can they get in touch with you?
Well, my number is 870-3375 if they would like to talk about this and maybe expand on it, because I believe that what happens is not for me, it's for everybody, and I think that everybody should be involved to create this organization, should it be created, and be a part of it, because it is for the people, and that's who I want to have to do it. Not me, but everybody else.
Good. Ben, thanks. Who needs to get involved? You do.
How could I? I'm Floyd Red Crow Westerman. When our rivers and forests were pure and unthreatened, my people regarded all life as sacred. If we live by these values today, we'll have a future for our children.
Okay, I'm here with Larry Cleland, and Larry is kind of second in command with Peace and Dignity involvement here in Phoenix. Larry, what is it to you, and what's it mean?
Peace and Dignity to me means all involvement of all the indigenous people in the United States, Alaska, South America, Mexico, and getting all these people together to think as one, to help each other out. And for a long time now, we've had these boundaries that break us up and alienate us from each other.
How can the Western society learn from what's happening here?
Well, this is the message right here. It's a message of peace and dignity. You have to know who you are first before you can continue on with your life and built on that. Peace and dignity for the whole world. It's not just for the indigenous people here. This is the message to the world that we have to, or else it's going to be all destroyed. And
who does that affect? It affects all of us. Thanks for tuning in. Zendor, out for now.